I have like two slides basically on him. One of them, here, let me pull it back up.
Okay.
Is this one. So here's kind of my takeaway on Jehoshaphat as the king. So he seeks to strengthen Judah, right, by teaching the book of the law. In every city, he starts out showing that a nation's strength is rooted in its knowledge of God, which is great. But then his story, it also has this warning. His affinity with the wicked King Ahab leads to a spiritual compromise and a military peril. So, through the courage of the prophet Micaiah that we just talked about, we see that standing alone with the truth is better than standing with everybody in error. Like the whole multitude of prophets were in error except Micaiah, these false prophets. Well, I feel like one another lesson that maybe we can take away is just the lesson of valuing the living prophet's voice above all the other worldly voices, those who have their heart toward the Lord. We hear every year, twice a year at General Conference. And I don't know if we're taking that for granted, like in our own way. And so I feel like for me, the purpose of this slide is just to kind of illustrate the lesson about Jehoshaphat, where he has like this success in religious education and in justice and administering justice, but his fatal error is forming that worldly alliance. And I think that is usually our fatal error too. I feel like this story to me, it presents like a view of a righteous restorer who, despite his devotion, he needed prophetic correction to realign his path with the
Right.
Lord. And we all need that. And so maybe like the
Well,
integrity of like our covenant associations is something to think about here, where like is our heart lifted up in the ways of the Lord? Are we listening to the prophet and hearkening to his counsel? Even when it's maybe rebuke that we're receiving, because in Second Chronicles 17:7 through 9, we see Jehoshaphat establish this like mobile teaching program, which is really cool. He's trying to get the word out to the people. He's trying to help the people become knowledgeable in the gospel. And so you could kind of think of it like all of our programs and the ways in which we're trying to teach and share the gospel. But then chapter 18, it recounts this problematic marriage alliance between Jehoshaphat and Ahab. And the centerpiece is Micaiah, who refuses to join with these other 400 prophets. And then in 19, after returning from this disastrous war in Syria, Jehoshaphat is met with this covenant lawsuit by Jehu this year. And he asks, "Shouldest thou help the ungodly and love them that hate the Lord?" So the Lord acknowledges the good things that he does, but he still finds error in the king's heart. And I think that there's something there too that's maybe worth just pondering. And then in chapter 19 also, we see, like, right after this little rebuke, Jehoshaphat, he actually redoubles his reforms. He establishes a judicial system where judges were charged to, I think it said, like, act in the fear of the Lord
right.
and to remember that they don't judge for man, but for the Lord. So you see him, I don't know, he almost feels like a very human person, like somebody who's like really struggling to like always do the right thing. And so it felt real to me. Like this is really how people are. Like he represents the average person and like the things that you go through.